ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Hare Krishna. So welcome again. Today we'll be doing chapter 4 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I'll be sharing my screen. We'll be reading verse number 2. So today I have arrangement here which is slightly different, but it is nicer. So I have two screens, and on one screen I can see all of you. So if you like, you can turn your video on so I can see you. If not, at least I should be able to see you easily without trying to juggle with the main screen. So here, if I'm looking on the side, I'm looking at you. Okay, so here I think I see all of you now. Okay, so you're seeing my screen. Okay, so this is what we'll be reading. If you can repeat after me. Evam parampara praptam
एवं परम्परा प्राप्तम्
imam rajarishayo vidu
इमं राजर्षयो विदुः
विदु
sakalaneha mahata
काले
पालने महता
तथा
yogo nashta parantapa.
योगो न
योगो नष्ट परन्तप
Evam parampara praptam
एवं परम्परा प्राप्तम्
परन्तप
imam rajarishayo vidu
इमं राजर्षयो विदुः
sakalaneha mahata
काले
पालने महता
ता
yogo nashta parantapa.
योगो
योगो
न
नष्ट परन्तप.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, this succession was broken, and therefore this science, as it is, appears to be lost. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is clearly stated that the Gita was specially meant for the saintly kings because they were to execute its purpose of ruling over the citizens. Certainly, Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demoniac people who would dissipate its value for no one's benefit and would devise all types of interpretations according to personal whims. As soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of the unscrupulous commentators, there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. 5,000 years ago, it was detected by the Lord Himself that the disciplic succession was broken, and therefore He declared that the supreme purpose of Gita appears to be lost. In the same way, at the present moment also, there are so many editions of Gita, especially in English, but almost all of them are not according to authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Krishna, Sri Krishna. This spirit is demoniac because demons do not believe in God, but simply enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need for an edition of Gita in English, as it is received by the Parampara disciplic succession system, an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. Bhagavad Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to the humanity, but if it's accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it is simply a waste of time. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinagandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shavasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Grim Yatkripatamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So again, thank you for joining. I think we have quite a number of devotees here, which is good. So today we will be reading this fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Fourth chapter is the Jnana Yoga, where Krishna is giving the knowledge. Okay. I was reading this verse because this is how Krishna starts. So I'll go back to verse number 1 and then we'll walk through all these verses and see how Krishna is actually giving knowledge to Arjuna. So first one he says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So Krishna told, after the Jnana Yoga was completed, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord Krishna told to Arjuna, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshava kave pravid. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to Sun God Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of the mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So this Manu and Ikshvaku and Vivasvan, they are actually extremely old. So now Krishna is telling him that whatever I am telling you, this is not the first time you are hearing. I have told this multiple times, and the last time I told was to sun god Vivasvan. Okay, and then Vivasvan told to his Manu, and Manu in turn told it to Ikshvaku. Okay, then comes this verse which we were reading earlier, which is Evam parampara praptam imam rajarasha vidu sa kalaneha mahata yogo nashta. Nashta is destroyed, parantapa. O parantapa, what happened was, this knowledge always came in disciplic succession. That's how it is understood. There are many important points here that if one wants to properly understand Bhagavad Gita, it must be accepted in disciplic succession. That is true for everybody. In fact, just to establish that point, Lord Krishna himself accepted a guru also. So did Lord Ramchandra. They went through formal education. Even though the education is coming from them, they went through formal education just to establish the point that everybody must accept a teacher. Even in our mundane life also, we see that we have to accept a teacher. So is true for the spiritual life also. So here Krishna is saying that this knowledge came in the parampara system, and it was meant for saintly kings. So when we say saintly kings, it means that the higher class of people in the society, because king is higher class, there he is the leader, and also Raja Rishayo Vidu, Rishi is a Raja and also a Rishi. So Krishna is using the combination of these two words. He's a Raja also and he's a Rishi also. So really high quality of people accepted this knowledge to guide others. And today also we see that teaching Bhagavad Gita is very actually limited. Not many people know about it. And even if they know, a lot of them just do it as an academic exercise. They just want to understand, they want to explain, they want to write some treatise, but actually they do not fully understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. And that's what Prabhupada is saying in the purport, that it comes in the disciplic succession and it has to be accepted as it is, otherwise the effect will not be there. So that is this verse where Krishna is saying. Okay. So as we go through the whole chapter, we will just see the flow of how Krishna is laying out all this knowledge in front of Arjuna. Then the next thing he's saying, Sa evaya mayate dhya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rasyam yeduttamam. Basically, he's saying that this is something I'm telling you because you are my friend. So that's another thing, that a person who's qualified to understand Gita, Bhagavad Gita, has to be a devotee of Krishna. Okay, it cannot be anybody. It has to be a devotee. Here Krishna is using the word. I'm going to highlight some of the main things here so we know what the message is. So right after Krishna said that it is accepted in Parampara system, here he's saying that the person has to be a bhakta, and in this case he's also a sakha. So he is a devotee and he's also a friend of Krishna. And that is the kind of person who can actually understand the science of Gita. Okay? Then Arjuna is asking, Aparam bhavata janmo param janma vivasvata katam etad vijaniyam tvam ado proktvaniti. So Arjuna is saying, okay, that's good. But how do I know that you spoke this knowledge so long ago? Because you're just born about 100 years ago. And these Manu, Ikshavaku, Vivaswan, they are like thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. So how do I understand that you spoke to them when you're just born 100 years ago? That's what Arjuna is saying. How can I understand? Okay. Then Lord Krishna says, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjana tanyam veda sarvani natvam veda parantapa. That he's saying many lives you and I have passed. I remember all of them, but you do not remember. You are only remembering your current life, but I have knowledge of everything. Okay? So this is how basically this whole chapter is laid out, that Krishna is telling him that this is the knowledge which I gave long ago, and then Arjuna is questioning it and Krishna is answering that actually we have run through multiple lives. Okay? Then the next he says, everybody's following so far, the flow? Because flow is important. We have to understand how the conversation is going, because then that's when we really get the message. Is it clear so far?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, others? Yes? Okay, that's good. Okay. Then Krishna says that, see, it's interesting. Krishna says earlier that Bahuni me, what was that? I'll just go back there. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. Okay, we both have passed multiple lives. Right? So that means both of them had multiple births. Krishna also had the birth through the womb of Mother Devaki. Right? Next verse is saying, Ajo. Ajo means I do not have birth. You just said that you have birth. Just a verse ago he said, Bahuni me janmani vyatitani tavacha Arjuna. We both had multiple births. You forgot all of them. I remember all of them. Okay, so that means he's saying that we both have births. You forgot, I remember. Now next verse he's saying Ajo. Ajo means I don't have birth. How come? Earlier you said you have birth. And now he's clarifying his position. Ajo api san avyayatma. Avyayatma also is a very important word. Vyaya means to change with time. Like Vyaya means to spend also, right? Avyaya means he would not change with time. So he is someone who does not have a birth. He also doesn't change his body with time. And not only that, he's saying, I'm also Bhutanam Ishvaro Apisan. I'm also the Ishvara of all living entities. So Krishna is saying, by the way, I do not have a birth. I do not get old. And also I am the Ishvara of all living entities. So this is the knowledge Krishna is giving to Arjuna. Prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya that by my energy I come and go, come and go, come and go again and again. So now this clarifies the point of polytheism. Many people believe that Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma believes in many gods. This verse proves that actually that is not true. He is saying that I come again and again as the situation is needed, but it's the same person. Prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami. I come. Atma mayaya. By my energy, I will come again and again. So he's the same God, same person. He is coming as Krishna, as Lord Ramchandra, as Nrsimhadev, Varahadev, Kurumadev, all those incarnations we see in Bhagavatam, they are all coming, but it's the same person. It's not many persons. Okay? So this is the knowledge Krishna is giving Arjuna. Then he says the famous verse. This is the most famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, where it says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever there is a glani of dharma, whenever there is a decline of dharma, Bharata, O son of Bharatas, abhyutthanam adharmasya, to kill the adharma, tadatmanam srijami aham. Srijami means to manifest. That whenever there is a decline of religion, that's when I come. So as and when there is decline of religions, according to yugas, that happens, as and when that will happen, Krishna will come. So it doesn't mean that he's just, there are many gods. He's just same God coming again and again, depending on the need. Because he's all powerful, he can definitely come more than once, and that's what he's saying. Srijami tadatmanam srijamiham. Okay? Abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamiham. What's the purpose of his coming? Everybody's following so far?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes? All good? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so now what's the purpose of his coming? He's saying paritranaya sadhunam. That means to deliverance of the sadhus. Vinashaya taduskrisham, and to destroy the demoniac people. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, to establish the dharma. Samsthapan means to sthapan, to establish dharma, arthaya, for that purpose. Sambhavami yuge yuge, I come again and again in different yugas. So this is the knowledge Krishna is giving. In Bhagavatam also he says, the reason Krishna appears is because he wants to attract the people who are in the mode of goodness. In Bhagavatam that particular statement is there, that he comes to attract people in the mode of goodness, and you will see that even in our Vaishnava society, ISKCON society, most people who are attracted, there are some exceptions also, there are some other people also, but most people who are attracted to this are mostly in the mode of goodness. That means the Sattva Guna is prominent. There are some Rajoguna and Tamoguna people will also come, but then they'll quickly become the people in the mode of goodness. So that's what Bhagavatam says, that he comes mainly to attract people in the mode of goodness. So, paritranaya sadhunam, for sadhus, not just ordinary people, for sadhus, for the deliverance, because sadhus are really trying to get out of this material world because of Janma Mrityu Jaravyadi. So Krishna comes and he delivers them and he takes them back with himself to the spiritual world. Okay? Then comes the famous verse after that, which is maybe not so famous outside, but this verse, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so arjuna. Then he says, my janma. Earlier he says ajo, I don't have a birth. Now he's saying janma, I have a birth. So he's just clarifying his position that when I come, I do not come like an ordinary person. So when you connect all these dots, we can understand that Krishna is just not an ordinary person or not just an intelligent person. He actually the Supreme Lord. So here he's saying Janma karma chame divyam, that my janma and my karma, my activities are divya, are they divine. Evam yoveti tatvatah, if a person understands in tattva, in essence, in truth, in reality, tyaktva deham, when that person leaves their body. So while living, if they understand Krishna in tattva, in essence, which we are trying to do from Bhagavad Gita here, tyaktva deham, when that person leaves their body, punarjanma, rebirth, naiti, does not happen. What happens then? Mameti, so Arjuna, that person actually comes back to me. So this verse, it has been said, there is Chaturshloki Gita in 10th chapter. There's another way to look at Gita is if you want to summarize the whole Gita in one verse. I believe Prabhupada said also, if you want to summarize the whole Gita in one verse, I think this is the one. Janma karma chame divyam. That my janma and my karma, they are divine. If a person really understands, then when they leave their body, they do not have to come back because they will come back to me. Okay? So these are actually very important verses. So everybody is following the flow of Gita, that how Krishna said that I gave this knowledge long time ago. Then Arjuna asked, how do I know that you gave it? Well, because I have been coming again and again and again. And now he is describing his whole activity of coming and going and the reasons why he comes and reason why he goes. And the details about his janma and karma. Okay? So that's that verse. Now he's saying Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Tvasrita Baho Jnana Tapasa Bhuta Madbhavam Agata. The people who are free from Raga, Bhaya and Krodh. Okay, now Krishna is giving the qualifications of people who can understand him. Once they are free from Rag, attachment, Bhaya, fear, and Krodh, anger, Manmaya Mam Upashrita, and they do the worship of Krishna, Upashrita. Bahavo Jnana Tapasa. Many people like that by Jnana, by understanding knowledge, because he is giving the knowledge, and by Tapasya, by doing some austerity. Puta, purified, Madbhavam Agata, they come to my abode. So many people, by understanding this knowledge, when they become free from Rag, Bhaya and Krodh, eventually they will come to me because they will become purified. Make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the flow. So Krishna is saying that if you become free from Rag, Bhaya and Krodh, and then you take shelter of me, then you will become purified. And once you become purified, then your destination is my abode. Again, this is the knowledge Krishna is giving Arjuna. Okay? Now Krishna is saying, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. He is saying that not everybody is ready to accept me as I am. So he gave knowledge about himself. Arjuna asked him, he told everything about yada yada hi dharmasya, and he gave all the details. Janma karma me divya. But not everybody will be ready or willing to accept that. And we see that there are not many devotees of Krishna. If you look at the percentage of the population in this world, it's a very, very, very small percentage. So here he's saying, Ye yatham ma prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyam. The way you approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. In other words, if people think God is not there, for them God is not there. He will not force on them. If people are more interested in worshipping the demigods for getting some temporary benefits, then it will come later. Then he makes that worship available so they get the benefits they are looking for, but ultimately those benefits are actually coming from Krishna. So here Krishna is saying, I am the source of everything, but the way you approach to me, I will reciprocate accordingly. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. The way you approach me, tams tathaiva bhajamiham. The same way I am going to reciprocate to you. But mama vartama anuvardante. But no matter who they are going to, actually they are following my path only. Mama vartama anuvartante manushya. The living it, the manushas, human beings, Partha, O son of Pritha, Sarvasha always. So whether we are going directly to Krishna or indirectly to someone else, Krishna is saying eventually you are coming to me only, because whatever you are getting from other places, I am also the provider of those things which you are getting from there. As all surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my paths in all respects, O son of Pritha. Okay, clear? Okay. Now Krishna is speaking about, okay, the way you approach, I reciprocate accordingly. Now he's saying, Kangshanta karmanam siddhim yajante yadevata shiprami manushya loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Basically, you're saying that those who are desiring to get fruits of living in this world, that means they want better facility, better house, better this, better that, better health, whatever they're looking for. If they want to get better things in this world but they are not interested in Krishna, then they go to Devas. Like, for example, they go to Lord Shiva, or in Diwali, even though Diwali is the festival of Lord Ram coming to his house, to his kingdom, but actually people do Lakshmi Puja more than Ram Puja, right? It is very strange that everybody knows Diwali is the night on which Lord Ramchandra came back. But still, the main worship is done for Lakshmi Devi because people want money, right? So here Krishna is saying that Kangshanta karmanam siddhim yajante iha devata. Those who are desiring perfection in the work they are doing, like businessmen, they start their new records or new khata, whatever, on Diwali day. They also do Lakshmi Puja on Diwali day, right? Because they want to next year to have more money than this year. So that's what Krishna is saying. Kangshanta karmanam siddhim. In their karma, whatever they are trying to do, if they want perfection, yajante iha devata. They worship different devas. Chipram hi manushya loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. And quickly they get those effects and they are happy with those. Okay, here let's read the translation. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So that explains why people do Devi Puja, Lakshmi Puja. We're not saying that it is bad, but people generally do that for a purpose of getting something. But the main thing about Krishna Bhakti is that we are not asking for anything, we just want to serve Krishna. That is the main purpose of Krishna Bhakti. Ahetuki apratihata. Yayatma suprasidati. There's a word somewhere else in Bhagavatam. Ahetuki means without any purpose. Apratihata, that means without any interruption. So there's no motivation and there is no interruption. Yayatma suprasidati, and that is the only thing which is going to completely satisfy the soul. That one must always be engaged in Krishna's service without anything in return, without any expectation. Okay, but here Krishna is speaking, he is saying those who want to enjoy in this world, they worship the devas. So sometimes people debate whether it's Krishna devotee or Shiva devotee, Lakshmi devotee. Sometimes there's argument, sometimes there's fight, all these things. Sometimes people of one side will blaspheme the other side, say something bad about others. All that is goes on in this world. But if you just come to what Krishna is saying, Krishna is saying, Yajante iha devata. They worship the devas to get some material benefit. But when they come to me, they are not coming for that. They just want to serve me. And if they come like that, eventually they go back to my abode. Is it meaningful? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, all right. These are actually very important verses. If someone understands these verses, there's so much to learn here. And we are going slowly, but there's so much to learn in these verses.
Prabhu, I have one question.
Yes,
So
Mataji.
when you mentioned that Krishna said, when you serve me, you come to me directly. Can you elaborate how exactly in the practical life we are serving for Krishna and not, like sometimes it's like mother, oh, I'm gonna serve my son, whatever. So how do we incorporate and make sure that is all for Krishna?
So, that's a very good question. So, we have some worldly duties and we have some spiritual duties. Okay. Some worldly duties are like you were saying, take care of my family, take care of my son, because we are in this world, we have to take care of things. That has to happen. But we also have some spiritual duties where we are trying to grow spiritually, and that's where Krishna's service comes in. So Krishna's service comes in Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam. This is a verse from Bhagavatam. Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. 9 ways in which you can serve Krishna. This is at a high level, 9 ways. Okay, and details are individual situation. Different age groups, different gender, different taste, different life situations. There are many factors which kind of dictate what the details of the service are. But the fundamental principle is the same. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. First starts your service by hearing about Krishna. You can hear Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Katha, or whatever you like, and hear about Krishna. That is your starting point. Once you develop a taste for hearing about Krishna, and this is not very uncommon, for some people, for example, are very interested in gossip, right? As soon as they see that there's a gossip going on, they run towards it because they're interested. That we have all seen, right? And we also sometimes get inclined to do those things. Okay. So interest has to be there. So if a person has interest in Krishna, first thing is Shravanam, then Kirtanam. First you hear about Krishna, then you start talking about Krishna. Talking about Krishna means directly or indirectly. Okay, let me go to temple, let me take care of this. How about this? You call people, talk to them. Are you going to temple? Or what's the plan for Janmashtami? What's going on in Janmashtami? Just talking about Krishna in multiple ways. Can I bring something to Krishna for temple? For Krishna in temple, or can I bring some deities in my house to serve? Different things. Then you start talking about Krishna. Shravanam, Kirtanam. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Then you are doing Smarana of Krishna. That's whether even if you're not doing anything, you are thinking about Krishna. When you go to bed in the night, you think about Krishna. When you wake up in the morning, first thing you think about is Hare Krishna. Think about Krishna, some way or the other, whatever works for you. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. Then you start doing Pada Sevana, serving the lotus feet of Krishna. That's when you can say that if you have a deity at home, you can serve those, or if you have a picture of Krishna, you serve that picture by daily bringing flowers, offering incense, offering your food to Krishna. So like the different things you can serve by doing service in the temple at your home or a temple you can go to. Okay, so Shravanam, Kirtana, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasinam, Archanam. Archanam is again the next step, which is Archana, which is deity worship. You worship Krishna deity at your home. Archanam, Vandanam. Vandanam means to offer prayers. Dasyam. And then you basically, in the end, after through this process, you slowly start feeling that actually I am a servant of Krishna. That you want to serve Krishna and you're not expecting anything in return. And finally, when a person reaches a very mature stage, then is Atma Nivedana. They completely surrender to Krishna and totally depend on Krishna. That's the final stage. So this verse is given in Bhagavatam about how a person can serve Krishna or how they can follow the spiritual life. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, but it elaborated in my mind more questions that in a daily life, what exactly means surrender?
Okay.
I'm sure
So
everybody has things in their way that
sure.
okay, I surrendered, but what does exactly Bhagwan mean when he is asking us to surrender to him?
Sure, that's a good point. So surrender doesn't have to be forced, and surrender doesn't have to be something like, okay, I have to surrender, I have to surrender, I have to surrender. No, it has to be some practical activity on a daily basis. So, for example, when you wake up in the morning, like I was saying, you think about Krishna. Okay, that's good. Then after you are showered and ready, then first thing you do is chant, let's say, one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You japa is also service of Krishna. You do some japa. If you like, you can read a little bit from Bhagavad Gita. When you add these activities one by one in your life, you are already surrendering. You don't have to like keep going in circles. Okay, I have to surrender, I have to surrender. No. Tomorrow morning you wake up, do something related to Krishna. Do it for 5 minutes, do it for 10 minutes, and slowly you keep building on it. Once you keep building on it, you will naturally be surrendered. You don't have to force yourself. It's not like you have to jump in a river to surrender to Krishna. It's just you have to gradually build your life in a way that Krishna becomes the center. So our practical application is chanting every day. Then we follow 4 regulatory principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. Okay, so we are completely vegetarian. Whatever we cook must be offered to Krishna, and we also don't take onion and garlic because those foods are in tamasic mode. The onion and garlic is tamasic, and mushrooms also. So we don't take tamasic food. We prepare food in the mode of goodness because we have to eat something. We prepare the ones which are good, and we offer it to Krishna. You will put it in a plate, put it in front of Krishna, leave it for 15 minutes, take it back, and then you eat. So these are the practical things which you can bring into your life on a daily basis. Then surrender will come naturally. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. That was a good question. Okay. So now going back to this one. So Krishna is saying that those who are desiring for perfection in this world or some facility in this world, they worship devas. Okay. Now, for those people, Krishna is saying, I have created Chaturvarna Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. This is a very interesting verse. Tasya Kartarabhimam Vidhi Akartaram Avyayam. So Krishna is saying Chaturvarnas, the 4 divisions of human society, which is Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, and also Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. Okay, now this is an important point. Many people derogate or just criticize the caste system. The reason they criticize is because if a person is born a Brahmana, then they develop pride that I'm a Brahmana and they start dominating people who are not Brahmanas. Because of that, people have started criticizing or not liking the caste system. Caste system has almost become a taboo, but Krishna is saying, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam. Krishna is saying, I have created that system. You have messed it up because of your misuse, but I am the creator of that system, and that system is valid naturally in human society. Even if you reject the system, Prabhupada says multiple times, the division of society is natural. Some people will be intelligent, some people like to rule, some people like to do business, and some people just like to work for others. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shrudas. These are the qualities of people. That's why he's saying Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam. This has to be clearly understood because this is like one of the key verses where the caste system has been clarified. So he's saying Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam. How? Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Based on guna, your quality, and your karma. He does not say janma. Now, when a person is born in a Brahmana family, there's a good chance they have Brahmanical qualities, but it's not guaranteed. They may or may not have it. If they have those qualities, then they continue the tradition. But this Chaturvarna is being designed mainly based on guna and karma. It's right here, Krishna is saying himself. I have created Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra based on your quality and based on how you behave in the society, what you do. Okay? Tasya kartarapimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. He's saying, even though I am the one who's decided it, but I'm actually not the doer because I'm not changeable. So Krishna has both sides to it. He's creating it, but he's not affected by it. Generally, we do something, we are affected by the reactions. But here Krishna is saying, I am the one who created the system, but I do not get the reaction of creating that system. But the first part of the verse is Krishna is saying, this is me only who has created this system. Okay? Was it clear? Thumbs up. Okay, that's good. Okay. Okay. All right. Then Krishna 14 verse saying, Na mam karmani nimpanti, na me karma phale spraha iti mam yo abhijanati karma bhir na sabadhyate. He's saying that even though I have created the system, I am doing all these things, but na mam karmani limpanti. Again, this is Jnana Yoga. Krishna is speaking Jnana about himself. Na mam karmani limpanti. I am not affected by the reactions of this work. Whatever is happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, whatever Krishna did in Mathura or Vrindavan or Dwarka, Krishna is saying, I am not affected by those karma. Na me karma phale spruha. Neither am I desiring for a result of the work I am doing. Even though Krishna did so many things, he was not in need of any of those things which he did. Like for example, he inspired Yudhishthir Maharaj to do the sacrifice. Yeah, Rajasuya sacrifice. But he has nothing to get out of it. He doesn't need it. So he's saying, even though I'm doing all these things, but I'm not affected by karma, neither I desire for the results of these activities. Iti mam yo abhijanati karma bhir na sabadhyate. He's saying, if you understand me that way, you will also be free from reaction. Okay, not only he is free from reaction, Krishna is saying, Iti mam yo abhijanati. If you understand it me that way, karma bhir na sabadhyate. That person will not be bound by the reaction of their karma. So Krishna is making a blanket statement here that if you understand that I am not affected by karma, then you will also not be affected by karma. It's actually a big blessing he is giving in this verse. That if you understand Krishna the way he is, then you will also become free from the reactions. There's also see the translation by Prabhupada. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of the work. Okay? So it's not only Krishna. If we understand, then we also become free, which is actually a very important lesson. Okay? Evam gyatva kritam karma purvarepi mumukshibhi kuru karma eva tasmatvam purva taram kritam. So knowing this, many munis in the past, they did work. Evam gyatva kritam karma. Knowing these facts about me. Now Krishna has given facts about him. Kritam karma purvepi mumukshibhi. Mumukshibhi is one who is desiring for liberation. Right? Let's see. Mumukshibhi, one who attained liberation. So many people in the past, they have acted based on this knowledge that about Krishna, whatever he said about himself. Many munis in the past have acted with this knowledge. Kuru karma tasmatam purva taram kritam. So the way they have done it, you also do the same thing. Basically, whatever they have done, you follow their path also. Okay? Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So again, there comes the system of parampara. That whatever our gurus, our predecessors, or whatever our previous generation of devotees have done, we follow the same steps. Okay. There's an important verse from Mahabharata where it says, Tarko apratishtha srutayo vibhinna naso muni yasya matam na bhinnam dharmam tattvam nihitam gohaya mahajanagata ye sapantha. That's a very interesting verse which Yudhishthir Maharaj spoke, and actually it gives so much understanding about what we should do in life. I'll just briefly describe because it's a very important one. I'll just briefly tell you what it is. He says, Yudhishthir Maharaj says in Mahabharata, Tarko apratishta. If you do tarka, logic, then apratishta, you cannot establish the truth just by debate or logic because there will always be back and forth. If you cannot do that, where do you go? You read books. But he says, Shrutayo vibhinnam, the scriptures are too many. There are Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, Samhitas, then there's Bible, there's Torah, there's Quran, this, that. It's so much you cannot get the conclusion from reading all these scriptures because it's too many. So he says, Tarko apratishta, Shrutayo vibhinna. Vibhinna means too many. This variety is too much. So what do you do next? You go to the people who are in knowledge, Gyanis, right? Then he says, Nasa muni yasya matam na bhinnam. A muni is not a muni if he does not have a difference of opinion from other munis. So what happens is if you go to intelligent people, if you go to person A, he'll give you advice A. If you go to person B, they'll give you advice B. And they usually, most often, they'll never agree with each other. So even if you go to intelligent people, they will never give you a consistent advice because one has a one way of thinking and the other person has another way of thinking. That's why all these spiritual society, there is so much of debate and difference of opinion because everybody is different. So Yudhishthir Maharaj said, Nasa muni yasya matam na bhinnam. A muni is not a muni if he does not give a different opinion. That means going to them is also not going to help much because no matter where you go, if you go to the next person, he'll tell you something else. Dharmam tattvam nihitam guhaya. So the dharma tattva, to understand of the tattva is actually very confidential. Guhaya means confidential. So how do you understand? He gives the conclusion. Mahajana gata yesa pantha. If you follow the path of the Mahajanas, the great souls who have come before us, if you follow their path, that is the path to be followed. Mahajana, this is the great souls, Gata, they have gone. Ye sa pantha, that is the pantha, that is the path to be followed on which the Mahajanas have gone already. Okay, same thing is being said here. Purva taram kritam, that you do what these saintly people have done in the past. So this also partially, or not partially, but kind of answers Aparna Mataji's earlier question. What should I do? Well, you find out what these saints and sadhu did in the past. How did they live their life? What did they do from morning to night? Read their biography, read something, read about Krishna. Just find out how people live their life and try to bring 1% of it in your own life. If you do that, then I think you're doing well. Okay, everybody with me so far? Okay. Okay. So now, so far, till verse 15, we have covered almost, well, actually, not even half of the chapter, and it's already 8:20. But these are the most important verses of this chapter, right in the beginning. So now, Krishna has given all the knowledge about himself. Okay? Now he is going to talk about karma. So next set of verses, Krishna is going to talk about karma. And after that, there's a whole set of verses where he's talking about yajna. Because, why he's talking about karma? Because what is to be done, what is not to be done, is also a subject of knowledge. Correct? Because this is Jnana Yoga, Krishna is giving knowledge about what is to be done, what is not to be done. So first part, he gave knowledge about himself. Now he is giving knowledge about what is to be done, what is not to be done. Is it making sense? Yes? Okay. Okay, so now Krishna is saying,
Yes.
I hope everybody is listening and following because this is such an interesting and useful
Yes.
information.
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro.
Okay, so now he's saying, Kim karmeti, this is so useful. Kim karmeti, kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavayo api atra mohita. This is Krishna's word. Krishna is saying, kim karma, what is to be done? Kim akarmata, what is inaction? That means what brings reaction and what does not bring reaction. That's what he's saying. What should I do that I will not be entangled in karma? And what is to be done where I will be, what work will bring me karma and what work will not bring me karma. That's what Krishna is saying. Kavayo api atra mohita, even the most intelligent person. Kavayo, kavi. Kavi means an intelligent person. Generally, kavi also means the ones who write poetry, but they are also very intelligent people. Kavayo api atra, in this matter, mohita, they are bewildered. So, what is to be done and what is not to be done, even an intelligent person is bewildered. Tatte karma pravakshyami yagyatva mokshaye se ashubhat. So, now I am going to tell you what pravakshyami means. I am going to speak, right? I shall explain. Yeah. Yagyatva, knowing this, mokshaye se, you will become free from ashubhat, from inauspicious things, ill fortune. So now Krishna is saying, Krishna said in another place in Gita, the work must be performed because without work you cannot even maintain yourself. So work has to be done. But now work has to be done. What work will bring me reaction and what work will free me from reaction, I do not know. Even intelligent persons do not know. So Krishna is saying, now I'm going to tell you how you should conduct yourself so you know what to do and what to avoid. Yagyatva mokshaye ashubhat. Okay. कर्मण्यो हि अपि बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणा अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गति. The intricacies of actions are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Akarmanasya cha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. Gahana means very difficult. Karmano gati. To understand the path of karma is actually very difficult. Here Krishna is saying one has to understand three things. Karmano, I am highlighting those, okay? Karmano, vikarmana, and akarmana. Okay? Karmana is something which we do, karma, the proper duty according to the prescribed rules and regulations and the scriptures. Vikarmana is basically bad karma. Meat eating, for example, killing animals. That is just pure outright vikarma because you are harassing or hurting other living entities just for food when you actually don't need that food. Vegetarians also live their life and they are doing fine. If someone is killing animals for food, that is vikarma. Okay. Akarmana is something which does not bring a reaction. Okay, so for example, if I'm cooking food and a bug fell into it and it got cooked, well, I am the cause of bug falling into the food and getting killed. So I have to get the reaction. But the same food, even though it's not intentional, is vegetarian, cleanly cooked, but you never know, there might be a small bug who came in and he got killed, right? That is possible. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami. I'll free you from all reactions. So when we offer that food to Krishna, even though it was cooked according to the standard, there will be some fault. And Krishna says, if you offer it to me, I free you from that reaction. When we do that, that becomes a karma because it's not bringing any karma. Is it clear what is karma, vikarma, and akarma? These three things. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's what he's saying. What is action, what is forbidden action, and what is inaction. Okay. Then Krishna is giving the details of one who sees inaction in action and action in action is intelligent among men, and he is in transcendental position, although engaged in all sort of activities. Basically he's saying is that when you're doing something, but if it's related to Krishna, actually that is inaction because it's not bringing any reaction. On the other side, if you're thinking you're not doing anything, but just by living in this world, we end up doing some things which will bring reactions. So a person has to understand what is karma, akarma and vikarma. So this is something I think you can go back and read. There are a lot of details here. Couple of things I'll just highlight. Kama sankalpa varjita. If a person is acting free from kama sankalpa, basically desiring the work only for himself. Jnanagni dagda karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha. He is saying a person is a pandit when he is doing his work based on this knowledge and he is not doing for personal gratification. Yasya sarve samarambha. Whatever he is starting, kama sankalpa varjita. He is not doing for kama, for personal gratification. And jnanagni dagda karmanam. He is burning the reaction by jnana agni because he knows how things works in this world. That person is called pandita. Is that clear? I'll just read the translation. One is understood to be in full knowledge whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Because he is in perfect knowledge of whatever we have read so far, he will not be affected by reactions because he will act according to the knowledge Krishna is giving. So I think it's 8:29. I think we'll take a pause here. I just want to end it on time, so because people have other things to do. So I think I covered most of the chapter. Now this remaining few verses talks about karma, and then Krishna talks about different kinds of yajna, and finally I'll just go to the end. That how different people do different kinds of yajnas. The brahmanas do yajnas, brahmacharis do yajnas, some do yajna of listening, some do yajnas in the fire, and all those details are explained. Krishna gives a lot of details on those. Okay, and towards the end, I'll just look at the final verses because that's where Krishna is concluding all these things. Okay, yeah, this is the end. Here, towards the end, Krishna is saying, after explaining all these things, Shraddhava labate jnanam tat para samitendriya jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadi gacchati. Again, important verse. If a person has Shraddha, faith, labate jnanam. If a person has faith in Bhagavad Gita, they will get the jnana. Tat para samitendriya. And the next thing that comes is that their senses are controlled. Jnanam labdhva param shantim. And finally, after having the senses under control and they have the knowledge, then they get param shantim. This is what most people in this world are looking for, but they do not know where to find it. Everybody is looking for peace, but Krishna is saying jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena digacchati, very quickly. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge, whatever we have studied so far, and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So what is the use and effect of reading Bhagavad Gita? That once we understand and act accordingly, at the very least we become peaceful. This is the guarantee Krishna is giving. Jnanam labdhva param shantim. Once you get jnana, you become peaceful. Achirena digacchati. Achirena means very soon. A person becomes peaceful just by getting this knowledge. So actually, it's very valuable, whatever we are reading. Agyascha shraddhadanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam loko asti na paro na sukham sanshayatmana. But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Nayam loko asti na paro. Nayam loko. Loko means in this world. Asti na paro. Paro means the next world. Neither in this life nor in next life. Na sukham. No happiness. For who? Samshayatmana. A person who is doubting the words of Krishna, they cannot be happy in this world and neither in the next world. Okay? Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibandhati jananjaya. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus he is not bound by the reactions of his work. And I think we'll read the final verse and we'll conclude. Okay, just one last translation. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. Okay, so we'll conclude here. I think we went a little over. If people have to leave, they're welcome to leave. If anybody wants to stay for any questions, we can stay for another 5 minutes. If you have any questions, otherwise we can conclude.
Beautifully explained, Prabhuji.
So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for nice session. Prabhuji, I have one question related to first verse. Evam parampara praptam rajashayo idu.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, before Krishna appear in this Dwapara Yuga, Parashurama Prabhu available, Vyasadeva also available, and Parashurama Prabhu is Guru of Bhishma Dev, Karna and Dronacharya. I'm not sure like about Dronacharya. So why and he's like Parashurama Prabhu is also incarnation of Krishna and also Vyasadeva also incarnation of Krishna. Why Parashurama Prabhu or Vyasadeva they did not reveal this Gyan to anybody, and why only like when situation comes Krishna revealed this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna?
Okay. That's a very good question. So I'll tell you based on my understanding of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, we were reading just now, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. So Parshuram came mainly to destroy the Kshatriyas 21 times. Correct? Bhagavatam explains that. That is the purpose for which he came, and that's the purpose he finished. He did not give knowledge so much. Vyasadeva came mainly to document everything, all the knowledge for the people of Kali Yuga. That's why he came at the Yuga Sandhya when Dwapar Yuga was going away and Kali was starting. That's when Vyasadeva wrote everything down. You will see that also explained in Bhagavatam. Okay? So different incarnation comes for different purpose. But in this particular situation, because Arjuna is bewildered, and Krishna sees that the Dwapar is going to end soon, Kali Yuga is going to start soon, so this knowledge is required for people of Kali Yuga and end of Dwapar Yuga also. So that is why he gave this knowledge at that point. Parshuram came much long ago, many thousands of years ago. Although Vyasadeva came at same time as Krishna, but he came mainly to document all the scriptures. That's why we see all the Vedas, Puranas, everything is written by Vyasadeva. But Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, he can come multiple incarnations. We cannot say, if you came once, you do everything and don't come again, right? He's Swam Bhagavan, he can do whatever he wants. So if he chooses to do one action through one incarnation and a different action through different incarnation, that's his choice. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. So based on like the important like why they came, they fulfilled that their dharmas.
Yes. See, Bhagavatam first verse says he's Swarat. Swarat means he's fully independent. when you say someone is fully independent, you can question what they're doing, but you cannot really stop them. So if he's Swarat, first verse of Bhagavatam says, Swarat. Swarat means completely independent. So he can do anything he wants. So if he wants to do something through Vyasadeva, he'll do it. If he wants to go through Krishna, he'll do it.
Makes sense. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure. Anything else? Okay, if nothing, we'll just conclude here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all.
Jai.
So
Jai.
now I
Hare
think
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So next section will be Monday, and we will
Thank
be doing next chapter, which is chapter number 5. Okay. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.